Hello and welcome to CAPS 13 News. I'm Leslie Bocanegra.
And I'm Caleb Lee. The Crawford County Clerk's Office is deep into election season. The new seats up for election include state, Congress, and governor. The county clerk is in charge of running the elections that put them in those seats. The clerk also processes the candidates, updates voter registration information, and designs and distributes ballots. Newly appointed County Clerk Lisa Lusker shares her view about the importance of voting and how dedicated her team is to upholding elections.
Voting is the most involved way that somebody can be in creating their own government. Their choices are heard through the polls. So I take that extremely personally, and everybody here that works for me takes it extremely personally. They treat everyone's ballot as if it was their own. It's extremely important. We all took oaths, and we do our job really well.
The season is already underway with people having opportunities to cast early votes. Even though the voter registration deadline has passed, early voting for registered voters in the Crawford County Clerk's Office will be available from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. until November 7th at noon. The Resident Hall Assembly here on campus met this Monday in the Overman Student Center.
Nathan Balsadua joins us now with more.
These meetings are one of the best ways the opinions of students who live here on campus can be heard.
The RHA board consists of student members from each dorm building we have here on campus. The meetings are focused on making sure its student members get the most out of what they have to offer. It gives the students the opportunity to have conversations with others from different buildings in hopes they can bring back new ideas to their floor and building communities. The other opportunity the organization gives is a chance to talk to those companies, departments, or people who run services on campus. On Monday's meeting, students held a conversation with Officer Ken Griffin of the University Police Department. Tori Reinard tells us about the importance of having these guest speakers talk to students.
So guest speakers are the most important thing within RHA because we want to show students where their funds are going and all the people that on campus who care about this. They want us to succeed. And so through bringing in those guest speakers, we're able to show those students where their money is going, how it's being used, as well as what departments are getting that funding, and the people within those departments to just make those one-on-one connections.
For the students to keep engaged, RHA plans multiple events throughout the year. The planning of these events is done in 3 groups: advocacy, event planning, and fundraising. Currently, the group is in the middle of planning their late-night breakfast in Gibson Dining Hall. Celie Murphy tells us more about the event.
So late night breakfast is on December 5th, which is the week before finals. So it's really just a de-stress event for students as they gear up to take these finals but need to take some pressure off. So for that we will have 4 to 6 de-stress events where students can just come and relax.
For more information on events and meetings, you can follow pittstate.rha on Instagram. Back to you.
Thanks, Nathan.
You can never ask a wrong question. That's what Students for Violence Prevention had in mind when they held their Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Response panel yesterday, October 26th. The Students for Violence Prevention are a student-led organization that advocates for student safety, educating on how to protect themselves from any sort of violence that may occur in relationships and society. Topics include sexual assault, domestic violence, and verbal or physical abuse. They also inform about the things that may happen outside of a relationship. These topics include stalking, consent, human trafficking, and intervening in needed situations. This week, the SVP took the long-standing problem that the nation is currently battling: sexual assault and domestic violence, having the cover a cruiser and a sexual assault and domestic violence panel and self-defense class. This offered students a chance to get involved and ask the tough questions.
So it was kind of a two-part event. So on Tuesday we had our Cover the Cruiser, which originally was supposed to be a police cruiser in the oval, and students could write questions on sticky notes that we actually used in the panel and stick it on the cruiser. That was moved inside. So instead we had a cardboard trifold that they were able to stick their questions on. So we still got questions.
The event did have one goal: to advocate for students and give resources if ever in a spot of need.
So the goal was to really teach students about domestic violence and sexual assault and kind of what resources we have on campus.
If you or anyone you know are in need of any services that the SVP offers, they meet on Wednesdays from 3 to 4 in the GRC in the basement of the ACTS library.
One sorority on campus has a new development that will change how they operate.
CAPS 13, Devin Baumchen has more.
Recently, the Pittsburg State University chapter of sorority Sigma Sigma Sigma, also known as the Chi chapter, officially got the go-ahead for a new chapter house, during their centennial year nonetheless. This is what we at CAPS 13 found out about the new chapter house.
The sorority has been alive on campus since February of 1922. Tri Sigma strives to support the community, especially supporting the children. The sisterhood has been living and conducting meetings out of their current house on Elm Street since the 1970s and are the only sorority on campus to not have rebuilt or majorly renovated their chapter house in their most recent years. Many current and active members are excited and grateful for the chance to grow a larger presence on campus and in the area.
I think that your house says a lot about your chapter. As you can see, our house is very old. We have black and white pictures inside the house of former Tri Sigmas who have lived here. And I think moving us to a new location is going to also kind of update the face of Tri Sigma, the Chi chapter.
The build site sits at the corner of Joplin Street and Ford Street, extending to Hobson Drive across from the Wilkinson Alumni Center. Some locals who live across the street voice concerns about the destruction of the field currently in that location.
And it's already noisy as is with frat being right down the road. And it was just kind of like, we like to come out and drink coffee and like look at the birds, watch the trees, and we just like the outdoors. So it just wasn't really appealing to know that they were going to be ripping up a bunch of trees and putting a massive house across the street.
Despite the disagreement, the plan for completion of the new chapter house still has the go, pending full funding. While the past, present, and future girls of Sigma 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 look forward to the projected move-in time of fall semester of 2024, locals are still worried about the current location of the build.
If you're interested in finding out more information and or donating to the project, visit pittstate.trisigma.org. Scroll down to the Future of Chi chapter and then click the Learn More button.
Thanks, Devin. Stick around after the break for a deep dive into one organization's Halloween plans.
I've got a lot of things on my mind. Some things might make you laugh, some things might make you cry, some things might even compromise national security. Why is the internet so obsessed with cats? Hashtag dogs are better. Sorry, but it's true. I can't wait for my trip to Vegas this week, and hashtag Friday can't get here fast enough. Have a nice trip. I hate my job. My boss is such a Oh, crap.
The French Club was forced to reschedule a movie night in the Grubbs Hall after a couple days of rain at the beginning of the week. The club was originally planning for a French picnic with lawn games prepared in the Oval. Instead, the club put on a movie so that students could help build their language skills as they listened to a French film. The club helps students delve into French culture and language by putting on events and meetings to help students in the French program. Hayden Kalovich tells us more about the French Club.
So it's a student organization for French students, not for abroad students, students who are taking French and just kind of want to get more in touch with other students that are also taking French, not only for tutoring purposes, but to kind of learn more about culture and other, I guess you could say, norms of Francophone countries.
With Halloween last Monday, the Guerrilla Activities Board took on the Halloween spirit with a series of spooky events. This final week of October, the Guerrilla Activities Board, also known as GAB, put on a series of events to celebrate the Halloween spirit. The Oval on Wednesday featured a unique event for students. President of the Guerrilla Activities Board, Tricia Combs, tells us how the idea of Fates and Fortunes was brought to the Oval.
So we definitely decided that we wanted to do just kind of a week of Halloween-themed events. So we had our programming chairs get in contact with Amber. She was a tarot reader we knew who has done stuff locally at like Toast and stuff. And she had some other contacts from a palm reader as well. And so that kind of really got the ball rolling and allowed us to put this on.
Gab set up tables with Halloween candy, coloring pages, and temporary tattoos. The Oval featured a palm reader as well as a tarot card reader. Amber Hames was one of the featured readers in the Oval. I spoke with Hames, who gave her perspective on why students should be open to new experiences like Fates and Fortunes.
I think that it definitely is not as scary as some people think that it is. At the end of the day, you can only put as much meaning into the cards as you give it. So for some people, it is a very spiritual practice. But for other people, it can be comparable to, an ink blot test or something like that. It is also very psychological in nature.
Halloween hosted a series of spooky events to put students in the Halloween spirit. You can follow the Guerrilla Activities Board for more events on Instagram and Facebook.
Pittsburg State alumni are getting ready for another Guerrilla gathering coming up on November 9th. Pittsburg State does a ton of things for its graduates, and this is just one of the many more things. For a little bit more information, we go to John Bartlow, the Director of Alumni at Pitt State, for more information.
We do pretty much guerrilla gatherings every single week throughout the fall and the spring semester. So those are kind of our name for our alumni events. Typically a guerrilla gathering, it can be a dinner. A lot of them are dinners with maybe the president of the university or maybe a dean or a vice president. We also have after hours events, and we have luncheons too. And those are all under the umbrella of guerrilla gathering.
The event will take place on November 9th from 12 p.m. to 1:15 p.m. at 12 Restaurant and Bar. For any more information, give the alumni office a call at 620-235-4758.
Coming up, we have a sneak peek at Guerrilla women's basketball and how they plan to take on the preseason. That's next on Caps 13.
In today's world of technology, if you're not careful with the media that you consume, the media that you consume will consume you.
Caps 13 Sports works tirelessly to bring guerrilla athletics to your living room. But when the university heads heard about the lice epidemic spreading into the area, they elected to bring in an expert.
Good luck, man.
Oh, hey, what's up, Doc? Is everything okay?
The Pittsburg State women's basketball team begins preseason play on Sunday, October 30th. The Guerrillas finished with an overall record of 16-13 last season. They are returning with 9 players from last year, including 3 starters. Head coach Amanda David says there is an advantage to this as they have chemistry together right away compared to other years where they would have to be teaching a new system to new players.
I think the experience that you're talking of, it lends to, we can pick up where we left off instead of adding new players and have to reteach all over. We talk a lot about retention, like not going backwards, whether it's from one week to the next, but if you can do it from one year to the next, then obviously that's going to help you.
It also outlined that their objectives for the preseason are to experiment with lineups and new schemes. She also said that the preseason is a great opportunity for her to get back into the flow of game day coaching as much as it is a warm-up for her players. They have their first home game on November 23rd.
Homecoming at any school brings about traditions and events that get students hyped and involved. Here at Pittsburg State, one such event is ever so popular, Yell Like Hell. Just about every year for the past 5 decades, student organizations like Greek Life gather at Carney Smith Stadium to perform and compete in the iconic Yell Like Hell. This tradition dates back to the 70s and originally started as a pep rally to get students riled up for homecoming. Campus groups will spend weeks or months in preparation for practice for the dance competition every year, many of which involve popular music and eccentric outfits. Phi Sigma Kappa won the small division performance category, Sigma Tau Gamma won the medium division, Alpha Gamma Delta and Lambda Chi won the large division. Along the pep rally activities, homecoming courts King and Queen are also announced to the students and community members in attendance. Congratulations to this year's King and Queens, CAPS 13 very own Cale Chapman and Pitt Educational Encouragement and Resource Specialist mentoring programs Morgan Blueball, performer for Sig Chi's Noah Fricky explains why this is so much, and he enjoys it so much.
It's just fun. I don't know how to explain why it's so fun, but you're just messing around with your friends for weeks, for 4, 5, 6 weeks, however long you're practicing, and you know it's just go there, have fun, get work done.
Learn about Pittsburgh's newest musical ensemble. That's after the break.
So you good, man?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, this is all you.
Tune into CAPS 13. There is literally something for everyone to watch. TV, movies, sports, news. It's all guerrilla-made content. The students have spent hundreds of hours preparing it just for you. The least you can do is tune into channel 13 on your TVs. CAPS 13. That's all I want to say, I think.
Sounds good, man.
That sound good?
Yep, I like that. That was great.
PSU and PHS musical directors recently created a community band for the people of Pittsburgh.
CAPS 13, Bo McDowell, joins us now with more.
Residents just developing their love of music to those who have been playing for years come together as a group to rehearse for an upcoming performance. For years, if you were an adult musician in the Pittsburgh area, you were out of luck when it came to playing in a group. That was until early October when Pittsburgh State University band director Dr. Andrew Chybowski and Pittsburgh High School band director Cooper Neal worked together to create the Pittsburgh Community Band.
One of the reasons that we've wanted to do this for so long is there have been so many people who have expressed interest.
The band provides an opportunity for community members to be a part of a musical ensemble, which many find hard to come by after high school or college. Meeting only once a week, rehearsals fit easily into people's busy schedules.
There are so many people who have wanted to have a band or an instrumental ensemble to be a part of, but they just either haven't had the opportunity or had the time to do it.
The group features community members of all ages with a variety of training and skill levels, from as young as middle school to those well into retirement, helping to connect the people in the community through music.
I really enjoyed just like being with the community and like just talking about music because music is fun.
You can catch the Pittsburgh Community Band when they perform alongside the Pittsburgh State University Wind Ensemble at 3 p.m. on November 13th in the Bicknell Center. If you're interested in becoming a future member of the Community Band, you can reach out to their Facebook group, Pittsburgh Community Band. Rehearsals for their next season will continue after their upcoming performance, which is once again on November 13th at the Bicknell Center. Back to you.
Thanks, Bo.
Thanks for tuning in to CAPS 13 News. I'm Leslie Bocanegra.
And I'm Caleb Lee. We'll see you next week.